Guys, thank you for listening and watching the UltraPerfom show, the show about performing your best. I'm very excited today to have my special guest and friend, Vinay. I actually pronounced your name
You
right,
did,
right? 'Cause
yes.
you say it so often. Hey, I'm Vinay. Hey, I'm Vinay. I forgot to tell you I'll give you crap on the show, too.
All right.
But you should be used to that.
I'm very much used to that.
It's Caldwell, right?
Caldwell.
Cardwell. He's going to be sharing a little bit with us for about a few different things, but his main thing, I believe, is the Young Professional Group, right?
Correct, yes.
Tell us a little bit about your past, like what brought you to becoming part of or buying or whatever you did with the Young Professionals. What brought you to that?
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So initially, I grew up in Vancouver, Canada. Born and raised, and
you're from Canada. That's why you're cool.
Yeah,
people are
super
cool
nice.
from Canada. They are. They're cool. They really are. They're like very well adjusted. I've noticed.
Yeah, so I grew up
in hold
in
conversations. They're not fearful.
Yeah,
you know, some Americans are like, I don't know, I might get killed. I'm like, dude, what's the percentage? You know?
Yeah, right.
Canadians are more like, hey, let's try it, let's go.
Yeah, we make friends with everyone, anywhere we would go.
It's cool.
And but I grew up in Vancouver, Canada, and it's a cultural melting pot. So my parents are actually from, my mom's from Fiji, but of Indian descent, so Vinays Background.
Really?
Yeah. My dad's from New Zealand, but of Anglo descent, so he's like blonde hair, blue eyed. And so they moved to Canada because it was part of the Commonwealth nations back in the day, so you can kind of just jump around it pretty easily.
Yeah.
And became citizens. And then I had an uncle who went on a Mormon mission in Fiji, and they married an American who then sponsored us in Canada to come down to the U.S. And so that's how I got a green card to be able to come to the U.S. So I grew up LDS in Vancouver, Canada.
How old were you when you came to America?
So I was, 22?
Oh, so you're
23.
an adult.
Yes.
Already.
Yep.
I mean, if you're an adult yet, but technically you're an adult.
Right, yes. I was 23. And actually came to the U.S. I was driving an 18-year-old car, had $100 cash in my pocket and a credit card, and a couch to crash on, and moved to America. And then within a week, I found a job, a place to stay, and friends I have to this very day.
Oh, cool.
You know, it is what you make of it, and that's what I love about
really
America.
Cool.
Yeah. So I lived here.
What was the difference, the contrast between Canada and America for that? Why come here? Why not just stay there?
I could have easily stayed in Canada and lived a good, comfortable life, and I have always just wanted to live in America. There's just more opportunity here, and that's, I think, the big thing.
Land of opportunity.
It really is, yeah.
It really is.
And being in Vancouver, that's if you're going to move to anywhere in Canada, it's probably in Vancouver, right? And so I've already been there for 20 plus years of my life. Now let's venture off and to see what else I can do.
Try something else.
Yeah, and I actually served a Mormon mission, so I think that also helped, because living abroad in Argentina and then coming back home, it's like, wow, I caught the travel bug. Like, let's go out and see what else is out there. And that's what allowed me to kind of push myself to get out and to move to America. So I lived in Seattle for a little while, went to school in Idaho, and then I got hit up by these like door-to-door guys, and then literally traveled the country knocking doors, like living in LA.
You were selling stuff.
Yeah.
What were you selling?
I was doing Dish Network. Network services in Little Rock, Arkansas, Chicago, LA, Sacramento, and then finally decided to come back to Salt Lake, and that's where I settled down in here into Salt Lake. And so, but lived here, did my undergrad at the U, and got married, and then eventually got divorced 10 years later. And need to figure out, well, when you get divorced, you basically lose all your friends, and you have to start all over again.
You don't lose all your friends, right?
I guess that's true.
You get to pick the friends, right?
They're better said.
Pick, right?
Better said, Adam. Better said.
I had this girl, like, we were talking, and I'm like, she gave me so many mixed messages, but she was like, she could see us dating for 3 years. Exactly 3 years.
Okay.
I was like, well, that doesn't sound bad. I mean, seems like you don't hate me, right?
Yeah.
And she was so sure we'd have a good run for 3 years. So I said as a joke, like, well, if you're so sure, let's set a party 3 years from now. We'll both pick our friends, which ones we want to have.
Right.
We'll just have a plan, and we'll just have a great time. It didn't go that way, but
It's a good idea.
It was like, yeah, because you pick your friends.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's one of the things too. That's good point, Adam. Because I actually met you before when I was married. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. It's CEO space. Yep.
Yeah. So we still stayed friends since then.
Yeah, that's good.
So
there we go.
But yeah, that's the thing, and I needed to branch out again. I was 39 at the time, and I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? And I needed to find friends and friend group, and so that's when I found Young Professionals. Mm-hmm. And it was basically, if there's anything to make it similar to being LDS, it was very similar to Singles Ward, where you're going out and hanging out with the same friends in your friend groups, and that's what I could relate it to. Yeah. And that was about 3 years ago, and now 3 years have transgressed, and now I'm running Young Professionals Salt Lake City.
Oh, so you joined Young Professionals.
I joined.
And you're running it.
They got involved.
What is, for people that don't know,
mm-hmm.
what is Singles Ward?
Singles Ward in Mormonism is basically the ages of 18 to 30. Back in the day, I don't know if they have them still anymore, but it's
They do.
They do? Actually, they went back to it? Okay.
Well, I've been invited to go to a barbecue.
Okay.
Once. Just once. That's all it took. One time.
They're trying to convert you.
I don't know. I was like, sure. I don't usually get invited to Mormon things, which is unfortunate. And I think that's part of the struggle that non-Mormons have. It's very exclusive.
Yeah.
Very exclusive. And I'm not Mormon, obviously. It's unfortunate because in other states, people invite people to things no matter what they're
regardless.
Oh yeah, come. It's just goodwill, and that's a perception, or that's been my experience. But so I was excited to go, but I've only been invited once.
So it's basically 18 to 30, and it's basically your friend groups that you live within the geographical region of your area, where you go to church. But you also have activities outside of during the rest of the week where we'll get together and we call it family home meeting, where you'll just get together and hang out with your other friends, have a spiritual message, but then you're also just, eating lots of baked goods.
Oh,
and
lots of baked goods?
Lots of baked goods, man. And just making friends, and that was very similar to what I found with Young Professionals in Salt Lake City. There's the same kind of demographic, and then you'll also be able to make friends, and instead of just going and having baked goods, you actually go to the bar and hang out and have fun. Yeah, the bar.
So you have an event coming up here, and we'll talk about it more at the end to catch people that might be interested in going. But you do these events, and you're doing an event not at a bar, but you end up at a bar. Where is this event this next Saturday?
So we're
not tomorrow, as I was foolish to think. I noticed since my mom passed, I'm a little more spacey.
Yes,
I'm like,
I get it.
I'm here, but I'm not here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But on the 18th, he's having this event, a white party event, which is usually funner than just regular events because you get to dress up in white. It's a theme. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're doing a white party, and Ever says don't wear white after Labor Day. We're like, screw that, screw tradition. And so
we're wear white after Labor Day.
I don't know, it's a saying, man. And so
I don't even know this stuff.
And so
because it's fall, basically.
Yeah, and we want to do it because it's
coming up.
Fall equinox is on the 21st. We're doing it on 18th, so just before the end. So
we're still in summer, folks. It's still summer.
Really, the final days of summer, end of summer party, and so we were doing it at our co-working space. It's on the shop, and it's the rooftop, so we're going to be able to have a rooftop party.
Nice.
With our DJ, and we'll have a tarot card reader. Yeah. Food, drinks, and just a good way to kind of socialize. And we're doing it in conjunction with the Black Chamber of Commerce that also works out of there, and Equality Utah.
Oh, cool.
So we're trying to bring in other branches of other groups because with Young Professionals, we're just a broad spectrum of people here in Salt Lake. And so we want to bring in more groups, and there's no reason why we should ever have a party just by ourselves. We should always be branching out and asking people to come and join and hang out with us. Because just because if you're not a young professional, it doesn't mean you shouldn't be able to come. So we're trying to build all these alliances with these other.
So what is a
groups.
young professional?
Basically, we have a 3-pillar kind of message that we're trying to do based around business, arts and entertainment, and community. So the business piece is personal development, recruiting, finding your next career, that sort of things, in regards to the kind of business piece and networking. The arts and entertainment is about going to galleries and going to the bars and concerts and like making friends and doing social activities where you start to grow your friend groups. And then the third is being active in community. Is really just giving back, being part of the community and doing volunteer work. Like yesterday we went to the Humane Society. We walked dogs. That was such a great experience. Just going out, hanging out with friends, walking dogs, and then we went to Crow and Pitcher just to hang out, make new friends, and get to know more people. Crow and Pitcher. It's just a bar in Murray. Yeah.
Crow and Pitchers. I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a good place. It's just off of State Street. And that's just what we're trying to do, is just build community, because we want to build as many just well-rounded individuals and make Utah a place where you can come and hang out, and you don't have to be this Mormon. You want to go and hang out with people that are like-minded like yourself. So we're trying to build that community and allow people to have a place that they can have and hang out, make friends, and
that's cool.
And establish roots.
I see. So you're kind of solving a problem that I mentioned just earlier.
Yeah. And so we have a younger group. It's called Young Professionals just because the girl that started it was a black female that came from Louisiana, and there was no Young Professionals group. And so kind of started out from like basically 22 to 39 is kind of the age range. I'm 42, but I'm running it. So it's young at heart is really kind of what we're trying to reach out and get at. But we're just trying to make sure people have a community that they can be a part of and associate with.
Cool, that's nice. Okay. Now, how did you do all these events and go to Harvard at the same time? Because I was looking at him, like, how does he have time? He's always out doing stuff, right? I mean, like, he's always out doing stuff. He's taking care of his kids. He proves that, unless it's just like you're just doing it for like 5 minutes. Okay, go, kids.
Yeah, it's for the Instagram.
And then he does all for the Instagram. But he's taking care of some kids, his kids, obviously, not some kids. And did a what's it called? Virtual.
Yeah, so the program, what it was is it's
tell us about it.
Sure, it's Masters in
Management.
Management.
Me trying to tell you, why don't you tell us?
Masters in Management through Harvard's extension program, and what we did is you do it online, and then you would fly out to Cambridge for the weekend for your intensive portion. So you're supposed to do that every semester, but COVID happened.
What's that?
So there was no more on campus. I was able to get it done once, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to double down. I'm going to do all my classes because I wasn't going out all the time. And so I needed to make sure I focused in on like what was the reason why I was going to and doing this programming, because I wanted to leave a legacy for my kids. And I just doubled down. I did as many classes as I could. And I was pacing it to do it within 4 years. I did it within just under 3.
Great.
Because I just wanted to focus, get it all done. And in May, I finally graduated with my Master's in Management from Harvard and graduate certificates in strategy and entrepreneurship and innovation.
Well, how did you do that, though, is what I'm asking, because you have a full-time job, you have kids, you have this, you go out and do stuff, and you did this. How? Man. People would want to know, like, hey, I can't do this. How?
You can do whatever you want to do, and its time is manageable.
Do you sleep? Wait, do you sleep?
I do sleep.
Okay, you do sleep. He does
and
sleep.
It's about leveraging your strengths, right? I know I'm really good when the classes are qualitative, where I can debate my professors and I can write papers and have an editing tool to like make it look better. And I think that's what I've learned a lot from my program is like there are tools out there to help you. And it doesn't always have to come from you, but there's others out there that can help you better prepare your message, or you are just there as a vessel, and it can give you more information to be able to just convey that info. So I leverage a lot of the tools that you can purchase or utilize out there. I remember when I would read books, they would give you books, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy the book. I got an Audible student account. I'd put the book on at 2x the speed, read the book at the same time, and I'm going through a book, and that should take me like 10 plus hours in 5 hours. So that's my weekend right there. And I would read through, highlight it, and then when I go into my class on Monday, I know what to taltalk about, and it's already highlighted in my book, and I'd show my book on the screen. And so it's just like figuring all these little hacks that you can do that are out there. And editing tools, when you're writing papers, well, you should never be writing a paper just on your own. Like there's so many Grammarly. I have an account to Grammarly, and it's like every single time they're just fact checking and looking for plagiarism and stuff like that. So that all these things that are out there that you just need to look and ask the right questions, because once you start asking questions, then it makes you think. And that's what the whole program is wanting you to do, is it's building you to become a better leader, because it's making you think and become more empathetical and having more conscious decisions that you're trying to make.
Nice. That's nice. That's really good.
But yeah, just finding
So you
hacks,
found
man.
some hacks. How did you find the hacks?
There's this really cool website called Google. Like, you could put questions into it, and it'll like lead you down this rabbit hole.
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's kind
So
of.
you just did research.
Yeah.
You did the research.
Exactly.
That's good.
And also, we also have WhatsApp groups on for every single class. So we would throw questions into our WhatsApp group and say, "Hey, I have a challenge with this. Anybody know any of these like responses?" And that's how you start to also build these relationships with people over on other sides of the world. So everyone uses WhatsApp globally. So we're having these conversations and helping each other out.
Yeah, I should give WhatsApp another try, because I hate WhatsApp. It's clunky. It was clunky when I was using it a few years ago. It was clunky, and I get all the spam from people, But it's worth it.
It's worth it when you get.
Yeah, I get people. No, people will ask me, "Are you on WhatsApp?" I'm like, "No, find me on Facebook."
Gotcha. Yeah.
But maybe I should give it a try again. So tell us a little bit about Freemason.
Oh, so Freemason. So when I was LDS, when I was active LDS, my ex-wife and I at the time, we did a tour of the Masonic Temple in Salt Lake, and we went to it, and she's just like, "Oh my goodness, you should become a Freemason." I'm like, "Wait, I thought Mormons can't be Freemasons." Like, and then some guy in the group like raised his hand. He's like, "No, I'm a Mormon, and I'm a Freemason." I'm like, "Oh, okay, you can do this." And so that's when I kind of started to pursue it. And because the founding fathers of our nation and the founding fathers of Mormonism were Freemasons, I'm like, there's got to be something there, right? And that's where I really started looking into Freemasonry. And what it just really is a brotherhood. It's a fraternity. And it's just a brotherhood that just teaches you good morals and characters. We don't ever talk about religion or politics in there. We're not there to be combative. And it's just, again, community that they're trying to build and build better men, because if you can build better men, you build better leaders, you build better people, be better followers, and it's just single time you go, it's just like you just get this good warm feeling that you're hanging out with people that are upstanding character, that are not going to go and try and stab you in the back, they're not trying to like outduel you or something like that. So that's the thing, when we're in lodge, we're all just strapped in our suits, nobody knows what profession you are, and we meet each other on the square is what we call it. And when you meet each other on the square, look, everyone is the same.
Sounds like you're about to fight. Meet each other on the square.
Meet each other on the square, and we just treat each other like with respect and the characters we are.
Nice. But you're not LDS anymore.
No, I slowly transitioned out of that, and so for the better, I feel, and just the critical thinking that goes into what life is and what your main purpose and goals and passions are, and it just fell away from it. I didn't believe in the teachings that I was raised into, and so I had to make a choice, and I think I made the better choice. I'm a lot more happier in my life, and I have a lot more opportunities because of it, and never looked back since.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. You wrote down something about KSL.
Yeah, so
Marketplace.
And NPR and Marketplace. So this is kind of interesting because of the growth that's happened in Utah. So the University of Utah came out with a study a couple weeks ago, and KSL, what they did is they reached out to young professionals in Salt Lake City and wanted to find out, well, what's with this article, and is there a growth within the millennials market? And that's what they wanted to find out. And so they interviewed me on a Wednesday, and then I went into the shop, the co-working space that we're going to have that white party at, did some pictures there, and then they posted it later that evening, all in one day.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this my feed for young YP and like friends I haven't seen in like 10, 15 years saw my face on KSL.
Oh, that's funny.
And they're just like,
"Hey, what's up?
Yeah, Vinay, oh wow, this is really cool
that
they interviewed you and all this stuff." And I think I had like 4,000 views on my like LinkedIn. I'm like, what the heck? You get hit up by recruiters and all this sort of stuff, right? And it was because of that article they wanted to find out like what's the growth rate look like here in Utah. And then that was on a Wednesday. And then Thursday, NPR Marketplace also interviewed me the day before. And that article that they wrote hit. And they also interviewed a few of the people here in Salt Lake. But because I run the largest young professionals group of millennials, they wanted to interview me. And I was quoted quite a few times in that national article. So I was quoted locally on Wednesday and then Thursday nationally.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and so it's just kind of interesting. And again, none of that was stuff that we tried to pursue. It all happened organically. And that just goes to the growth of Utah here. And that's where I'm so animated and so passionate about running Young Professionals Salt Lake City, because there is so much opportunity that we have just to also be better stewards of Utah. Because you looked at one of the things was, and they liked about it, is because I am so diverse, and I'm an immigrant, and I'm a transplant to Utah. I am kind of what they are trying to be as the poster child of what Utah should be. Instead of...
I'm like... Sorry.
Well,
instead of my reaction, right? Oh,
so the diversity report came out a couple months ago with Orem and Provo were 499 and 501 on the list of diversity in cities diverse in America. So we're so low because it's just white toast down there. And so
wait. You got to say that more clearly.
White toast.
No, not the white toast part.
But diversity.
499, 501. Make it a little more clear.
So
out of I'll do it. Out of 501 cities?
Well, there was a lot more.
Oh, there's a lot more. Okay, how many cities? 1,000, 5,000? Okay. In the nation, or
in the nation.
In the nation, out of cities in the nation, we landed number 499 diversity for what cities?
Orem and Provo.
Orem and Provo.
So that's where BYU is.
Which if you live here, you know that.
Yeah. And that's, 50 miles south of Salt Lake City.
That's why the eye roll when he was like, this is what we want. And it's not what you got. No offense, because I'm Egyptian, born here. I'm American. When I go to Egypt, I'm like, okay, it's been a week. I need to get back home. Right? But people still see me as a foreigner.
Yeah.
But you're saying they want you to be the poster child for the diversity in Utah because they want to make a change.
Exactly. And so that's the thing that they're trying to do.
Or they want to make a change in the perception, at least.
That's the key. It's the perception that people have of Utah. So talking with the state when they go out and try and get businesses to come to the state, because we're a very business pro state.
We are very business pro.
And so that's one of the reasons why we can get companies to come. But what about their employees? That's the biggest challenge. So if you can change that perception that they have, that it's not just white toast and like, hey, you can actually have a nightlife here, that changes the ability for them to recruit and bring in actual talent that wants to come here instead of the talent going to the coast. Because that's where all the money is going to, is the coast, as opposed to coming here inland to the Mountain West.
Interesting. Tell us a little more about the White Party. So people can remember. You're having it next Saturday.
Next Saturday, the 18th. So we're going to do it at the shop. It's 350.
Why is it called the shop?
It's just what they called it.
The shop.
The shop.
Because when I read them, like I had to Google it. This thing called Google. Google mapped it. So I could look at pictures to see. I was like, oh, that's what that place is. Because it's a really swanky place.
Yeah.
I've driven by it a few times. I'm like, is that a restaurant? What is it?
Yeah, it's a co-working space. Yeah. And so a lot of
those... high-end co-working space, though. It's not like green chairs and Formica. It's a high-end place.
Yeah, it's pretty...
I could just see that from the road, and then I looked at the pictures. But
yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous inside. Without the high-end cost, too, because they keep it just as affordable.
Well, you're there. Just kidding. So it's a high-end place. It's a quality establishment. That's the point.
Yeah, and then, so we're having it on the 18th. We're doing, like I said, in coordination with Equality Utah. So they're the LGBTQ lobbyists here in Utah. And then with the Black Chamber of Commerce and ourselves. We're all out of that space, and we're just like, why aren't we doing parties together? It just seems like a no-brainer.
Oh, good.
So, for $20, we're giving a couple drinks. So you get 2 drinks, charcuterie board, and then we're doing an after party at charcuterie board. It's just, fine little meals and morsels of food, appetizers
it's like
you can eat.
A cheese board kind of.
There you go. Yes, exactly. And also providing, we're going to have an after party at Twist Exchange. And so that also includes a cover for there. So for $20, we're making sure it's a good, well-attended event.
Nice.
Getting as many people that want to come. And again, we have a rooftop patio where we have the DJ there. We have a tarot card reader that's going to have her own booth that you can go and get your cards read, and we'll see what's in the stars. And also just to make friends and from all walks of life, right?
And you're supposed to dress in white.
And you're supposed to dress in white.
All white.
If you can.
So as white as you can.
White is encouraged.
Yes, as white as you can.
Which is what we put. Yeah, and so it's one of our bigger events. We're trying to do those at least 2 to 3 times a year, where we're doing more of a formalized event. And also we're trying to do it as a fundraiser because we're a nonprofit. We're trying to raise some funds for us to get a couple bucks in the bank and be able to do some cool stuff throughout the rest of the year.
Oh, cool. The pricing, wasn't there another set of pricing on that flyer?
Well, 30, and that's the day of because...
Oh, okay, that's what it is. No, I
people always wait to the last
I just
day.
remember seeing it at a glance, right? It was like that. It was like 2 different. I don't know if it was VIP or something like that.
Yeah.
And you said Twist Exchange. Is it at Twist or at Exchange?
Exchange.
At Exchange.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. So, White Party, and how do they go to check out YP?
So just through our Instagram at YPSLC, or on our Facebook, or Young Professional
YPSLC on Instagram.
Yep.
And then
Facebook
your website is or your Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook is just our Young Professional Salt Lake City, and then we have our Eventbrite links all throughout there that they can go on.
And what's your website again? It's
YPSLC.com.
You say that so fast.
YPSLC.com.
I want them to catch it. I know what it is.
Yes,
Remember?
thank you. Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Vinay, for being on the show. We really appreciate it. I'm glad you made it out here. We're going to try to get him on Wednesday with Nigel, but we didn't make it. Didn't make it work out, but he's here now, so we're very grateful for that. And remember his White Party Saturday on the 18th, and check out the Young Professionals group. When's your next event besides that one?
Well, that's we usually do mix and mingles at bars every 3rd Thursday of the month.
Every 3rd Thursday of the month.
Yeah.
So check it out. Thank you guys for listening and watching the UltraPerfom show about performing your best, where we have business professionals come on and share with you their expertise so you can perform your best. Thank you. Catch you guys later.